AskReddit by Gourmet Guy. Which cheap and mass-produced item is stupendously well engineered? I really like big products. Lighters, ballpoint pens, razor blades, etc. They're all very robust despite being cheap mass-produced plastic items. Until this moment, I had never connected that these big products were all from the same company. Amazing that they've produced a variety of incredibly cheap but still reasonable quality items. Toilets. I've been a plumber 20 years and very little has changed, or needed to. Minimal upkeep, cheap and easy repair, very long life. Hey, so what is the difference between my house toilet that just flushes like regular and a commercial toilet in like a doctor's building where if you flush it will also suck the clothing right off you? Is there a pressure regulator behind the toilet or something? Whistle. For a few cents, you can be heard in the middle of nowhere for nearly a mile. Much louder than your voice. Great if you are lost. The intermodal shipping container, aka the Connects box. There are millions of the damn things all over the world, in use every single day. They are stackable, can be locked together, attached readily to ships, truck trailer frames, and rail cars, and can bear enormous loads. The cost of their manufacture compared to their economic use value over their useful lives is next to nothing. And there are so many varieties. It's like a system of compatible equipment. Tank, reefer, flat rack, silo, just to name a few. I just hate that they are so narrow, 20 centimeters more, and they would be fully compatible with the Apple standard. The next best thing after the shipping container. There are even so-called PW container. Pallet wide. Just that you can use them to haul pallets via, for example, ferry. It's a minor inconvenience and rather irrelevant, but it bugs me to this day. Zip tie is such a simple piece of plastic but so versatile. I have one of the old-fashioned chain link fences. Some of the fasteners on the middle poles broken in high winds, the fence was swaying like crazy. A half dozen zip ties on the 3 posts and it doesn't budge and nobody even knows they're there. My son rebuilt the front of his car with them time and again. He's a genius with a zip tie. With not hitting the car in front of him, not so much. The brick. Made out of mud and lasts for centuries, and the way it can distribute load for large buildings. The lighter. Spontaneously ignite fire basically whenever you want. Specifically, Bic lighters are incredibly reliable. You can find one on the ground that's been outside for months and they still work. Cheaper disposables break in a million ways and more expensive refillable lighters will leave you disappointed if you store them, but you can always keep a Bic handy and know it'll work when you need it. Soda beer cans. The design has existed for decades with few changes. It's a way of using a relatively small amount of cheap metal to withstand the pressure of carbonated beverages with a reliable opening mechanism. During pandemic, I also noticed that some companies stopped using thicker material on the upper edge of the can, probably due to supply shortages. They instead used a sort of step system that appeared to be almost as strong. Every few years you will see the can design change as they find additional areas to reduce the use of aluminum. You can still find newly manufactured cans in the old designs in some of the more remote areas with less demand, like Hawaii. It's cheaper to create and fill cans on the island than import them, but the payback from updating to the newest can forming machines isn't quite there for the volume of cans they manufacture. So they get hand-me-downs and cast-offs. Ball bearings. Even the cheapest ball bearings with the loosest tolerances are still made in the 10-50 micron range of tolerance. It only gets better from there, a Beck spec anyways. Edit. When I say ball bearings, I'm loosely referring to the races and rolling elements of any roller element bearing, ball, taper, needle, cylinder, etc. 2 races, 1 race, no race, etc. Not exactly cheap, but I'm impressed that I can have a ceiling fan run on high for 15 years straight and not have it explode on me. I seriously startled myself when I realized the only time my ceiling fan had been off since I moved in was when the power went out. The transistor. I remember how amazed we were in 1985 to see a chip with 68,000 transistors. Now they are at 68 billion. Toilets. They use nothing more than gravity to reliably flush. Doesn't use power at all. And if you've ever used a poorly engineered toilet, you really learn to appreciate the well-engineered ones. Edit. Never would have expected my most upvoted comment on Reddit to be about toilets. The humble corrugated cardboard box. It's lightweight, strong, splash resistant, somewhat padded, doesn't break down in heat cold, scratch resistant, recyclable, biodegradable and able to be assembled cheaply into any size. The basic design has existed for over 150 years. The retail shipping industry runs on cardboard boxes. And their factories are way more interesting than the slide factory or the toy factory. Road reflectors, countless lives saved. Similarly, rumble strips. On the shoulders and in the center. I'm sure they've saved my dad's life many times over. Quartz movement clocks. You can literally pick one up for £2.50 here. 54,290, the technology and gearing that goes into its functions is well worth the costs. I'm a certified master watchmaker. I restore 18th and amp 19th century pocket watches. Have always appreciated the quartz movement despite the fact that it wiped out 99% of the watchmaking jobs. If you need a watch for accuracy, get a quartz movement. It'll be more accurate than a $10,000 mechanical movement. Metal pencil sharpeners, the manual kind, not electric. Don't buy the plastic ones in the school supply section. Go to the art section. Those metal sharpeners are choice. I have a Blackwing 2-stage sharpener. I could do surgery with a pencil sharpened with it. Glass bottles. And X200B. Let's smelt this rock into a clear, brittle material and turn it into what? Windows? Decorations? Screens? No, we're making pressure vessels, baby. Deleted. The ballpoint pen, clearly. Give credit to the inventor, Laszlo Biro. He escaped the Nazis, invented the pen, then got ripped off and never made money. The aluminium beverage can, https://yahoo.be/HUHESI2F close bracket. Serious upgrade when they engineered the pop top to remain with the can. Batteries are marvels of engineering packed tightly into a minuscule canister. Even AA batteries are incredibly sophisticated internally. I saw a video of someone take apart a lithium energizer battery the other day and it looks like cotton balls in folded foil just all jammed together. Like someone figured out how to harness so much energy into that thing. Edit. This is my most popular comment. It's me admitting that I can barely tie my shoes, and here are people just casually throwing atoms together to make my car go zoom. The zipper. It's a very cheap mechanism that secures objects in a very neat fashion. No wonder it's used in most objects that need to be opened and closed, such as luggage and jackets. But why is it still so easy to tell a quality zipper from a cheap one? Some are a delight to use while others feel cheap and constantly get jammed. Injection molded stuff like plastic ball valves. Stuff we don't think about, but is amazingly good and cheap. https://www.youtube.com/watch?vigtkl4fsx4. LEDs. Cheap diodes. Even colors. Okay, I dislike the blue ones, but tint them and you get warm white. Blue LEDs are a Nobel Prize winning invention for how revolutionary they have been in lighting. The humble monoblock chair. commonly known as those white plastic chairs you can find absolutely everywhere in the world. So called because they are made from a single piece of plastic, with no need for assembly. Their geometry allows you to use just one mold to make them. Just inject the plastic, open the mold, and a whole chair comes out fully formed. The same geometric properties also make them so easily stackable. Soda cans. The level of engineering in the average soda can is absolutely mind-blowing. An amazing video that covers cans in detail. https://www.youtube.com/watch?vhuhc2fbulb. Velcro. Well, I think we have the Vulcans to thank for this one. Screws. Can you imagine what would happen if all the screws suddenly disappeared from world? Everything would fall apart. We would be screwed. Hinges. I had to study on them for my engineering class. I bet that bit of work opened some doors for you. Big pens and lighters. And the most stolen items. A doorknob and a lock. Not that they don't have their flaws, but I'd have a hard time making something that works that reliably that frequently. Tarps. A million tasks for them. They're incredibly versatile. Make a shelter, make a floor, make a carriage vessel, make a weatherproof housing for firewood or anything outdoors you want protected. Use it at a picnic. It's better than a blanket on the ground. Because of the threading, they're still mostly effective even when a tear develops. And because of that same threading, they can distribute weight and hold up against snow and rain buildup. Then you can just take it down. Spray it with a hose if needed. It's good as new. Fold it up to a compact form and toss it in a corner until you need it next. You are never far from a store or gas station that sells them for cheap. Always keep one in your trunk. Solid answer. Even cheap tarps are still pretty darn useful. Clothespins pegs, the wooden ones. People keep on trying to find some other way to do the job but never come up with something this durable and reliable. The missus keeps buying plastic ones which degrade in the sun and shatter left, right, and center all over the garden. Tough question. I'd say stainless steel cutlery. How many other things in life are used almost every day, then machine washed, thrown haphazardly into a drawer and damp, regularly survive in a working condition for much more than a century? Yeah, if you get proper 18/10 stainless steel flatware, that shit will legit last a lifetime. It is a little more expensive, and usually you're gonna see a lot of 18/0 stuff that's often half the price in stores. That'll be more tempting. But if you can afford it, I highly recommend going for the proper 18/10 stuff. Oneida is a solid brand in my experience that has some good stuff in that quality. A red brick. And they are remarkably similar in shape and size to bricks made thousands of years ago. It's just the right size to handle. Hard drives. Fucking spinning glass disks that hold terabytes of data. Yeah, this is the one where I really think they engineered that to hell. The heads fly microns above the platters on a cushion of air. In newer drives, helium. The precision of the voice coils in aligning the heads. The DSP circuitry to process the signal that should be noise. And modern hard disks have to warm the area they write with a laser so it'll hold the magnetic charge. They spin for years and are surprisingly fast. Absolutely incredible. The Wonder Bar. It's a crowbar. The Wonder Bra provides equally important leverage. Manual can opener, which came out like 100 years after the can. What a bitch, it must have been eating canned food. Schrader valve. Just think of the number of those in service every day, from the most simple to complex pieces of machinery, and where we would be without them. That's what's in the valve stem on your car or bike tires. In case anyone is wondering, they are used for lots of applications. Those containers used to store Chinese food. They are durable, compact, keep the food hot, and don't really leak. They also collapse into a plate if you choose to. My favorite thing might be they don't take up much space in the rubbish bin either. Great product, and must cost less than a cent. The better ones are nice, but the variance in quality is pretty substantial in my experience. The screw. People say the wheel was the great invention, but everyone forgets about the screw. And I mean the abstract concept, thereby including drills, water pumps and so on. Legos. Virtually indestructible through normal means, last forever, extremely simple, endlessly versatile, and now they are manufactured with recycled plastic. The Lego Group is also the world's largest manufacturer of car tires in the world. And a new Lego brick today will work with old bricks built decades ago. Actually, egg cartons and milk jugs. Egg cartons are super cheap and absolutely best way to store eggs. Milk jugs feel cheap and flimsy, but they are designed to deform and absorb the shock of a drop. Plunger. Carabiners. Cheap, easy to use, super useful for just about anything, and the higher grade ones, 30-ish USD, can hold up a truck. What else needs to be said? Computer processors, they're rocks we tricked into thinking. Deleted. Lego brick separator. Also work great for cleaning, removing keys from mechanical keyboard. Those thermic isolated cups you see construction workers drinking from, you can't say Stanley or Yeti is just junk after trying it out. I bought the Stanley Grandpa Going Fishing Thermos. If you follow the instructions, it's ungodly how well it works. I actually started using their method with my cold Yeti can thingy and it's amazing. For those unfamiliar with how to use a thermos properly, you fill the thermos with boiling water for about 15 minutes. Dump that water out, and then put in your coffee tea. By preheating your thermos, it will keep that drink hot